So good morning. My name is Brett Grossman, and it's a pleasure to be here with all of you here this morning. Really excited to share my topic, and I'm going to throw a lot at you here this morning. I only have about a 30-minute window of time. Usually when we do these types of trainings, typically we do them in a boot camp style training, and I've got 8 hours to kind of spread it out, but I'm going to condense it into 30 minutes here today. And before I get started, one of the things that I had a conversation with Robin this morning while we were having breakfast, and one of the things that we talked about was the commitment that you make to yourself in order to do the right things. And what that means is there's things that are out of our control. Human nature is out of our control. And we had 2 agents that didn't come today. And I know they wanted to be here. And I know how beneficial it would have been for them to be here today. And so a lot of times we make arrangements, we make plans, and we do things at the last minute, even though we've known about an event for 2 months, 3 months. And yet we make these last minute arrangements. And now these 2 agents, unfortunately, weren't able to be with us here today because of travel, right? Because of the weather. And one of the things that we talked about was getting in early. How many of us got here yesterday from very far away? Was able to get in? That's about almost the entire room. So we all got in. And so, so there's a reason why we came in yesterday as opposed to waiting till this morning to come in, right? Because if there's things that are out of our control and a flight doesn't come out, then you miss all of this. And that can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next 6 and 7 months. It's the truth. It's a fact. Folks, here's what I'll share with you. Over the next 30 minutes, I am not everybody's cup of tea. And I know that. I'm not for everybody. I'm very well aware of it. And some of you are going to relate to my conversation, and some of you won't. And I got to tell you, the ones who relate to my conversation that I work with on a daily basis, they make money. The individuals who come to me for counseling, coaching, mentoring, they make money in this business. It's not always sweet, and it's not always, right? So a lot of times people don't want to hear your message, but they need to hear your message. And sometimes it's a stranger to kick you in the ass that all of a sudden makes you go, you know what? They got a point. And a lot of times when it's not your spouse, and it's not your sibling, it's not somebody who's close to you, when it's a complete stranger, sometimes it resonates with you. And that's my job. My job is to deliver some information here to you today that resonates with you, that sticks with you. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, oh, here we go. Is this a motivational speaker? Is this a guy who's just going to tell me the same things that I've been hearing about over the last couple years? The answer is absolutely yes. Before I get started, if you're working in the Grossman organization or the Skelly organization, can you please stand up? If you're working in our organization, you're working with us. Guys, give yourselves a round of applause. I appreciate you guys being here. Again, people make the commitment to do things that other people won't. But that's why individuals have things that other people don't have. So my topic today is to talk to you about a little bit of everything. Some entrepreneurship, some leadership skills, but more importantly, how can we apply it today? Like literally, how can you go back to your market? Is that too loud? How can you go back to your market and begin to apply some of these skills right away? And you're going to hear things like taking massive action, having persistence, being all in. And so let's start there. Let's start with being all in. Now, I was going to use some markers, but I'm going to stay away from the markers today. So write this down. All in. Just write it. All in. I'm going all in. I'm going all in on this opportunity. Now, I believe in multiple streams of income. I believe in taking the income, the residuals, the money that we've made in the insurance business and investing it into other things. I don't believe that it just has to be one thing. And I know that Schless thinks the same way, and I know that many of us here in the room think very similar. But how are we able to develop multiple streams of income if we don't get good at one particular thing? And so you have to make a decision. And when you make a decision, you have to be decisive. Here is an attribute of an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are decisive. They make decisions. They don't mull things over. They don't sit on the fence. They're not tire kickers. When I found this opportunity 8 years ago, I said no. And then I said, why not yes? All in the matter of about 1 hour. Probably because the woman called me back after I said no. And then I hung up on her. But she was persistent. She called me back, and then I said yes. Because one of the things that she shared with me was the opportunity not just to be in direct sales. And for those of you who are brand new, this is direct sales. This is as direct as it gets. Someone fills out a lead, and we go directly to their home. And we go help that client. We go directly into a business owner. We walk right in and we say, hi, my name is Brett Grossman. I'm here to see Bob Smith. Do you have an appointment? I believe he's expecting me. Because I'm going directly to Bob because I want to talk to Bob about his retirement. And so this is direct sales. And so you have to be decisive about what you're going to be doing within this opportunity. You can't waver with this. You can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It literally has to be bred within you. And that's going to take time. So how do you become decisive about, okay, should I go and stay in my MLM company, or should I go do insurance? Should I stay at my job, or should I work my insurance business so strong that I can go fire my boss? Everybody who's working at a job and doing insurance part-time should have some sort of feeling that they want to go in one day and fire their boss. It's real, and it can be done. And everybody in this room has the ability to fire your boss, fire someone in your life who's not supportive, kick people to the curb who are not on your team. But you have to make a decision about it. Because if you don't, those things continue to linger, and that prevents you from having all-out success. You will not have massive success. You cannot take massive action if you are not absolutely 100% convinced that this is the opportunity for you. If you're allergic to making money, you should leave. Because that's all you do in the insurance business. And I speak always out of love, but most importantly, I speak out of experience. Over the last 8 years, I've had an opportunity to sell well over 3,000 life insurance policies. Indexed annuities, indexed universal life, living benefits life insurance, term life, GULs, whole life, you name it. I've seen clients from age 15 days old, toddlers, and their parents, all the way straight up to 85 and everybody in between. Business owners, new homeowners, newlyweds, individuals in their 50s and 60s who did a refinance, and everybody in between. Professional athletes, people who are just, what happens is in the beginning, nobody wants to talk to you about insurance, yes? Like you're new and you're trying to talk to some friends and family and you're trying to talk to people on social media and they're like, what do you know about financial services? Because they know you as the HVAC guy, or they know you as a bartender, or they know you as whatever your profession is at this moment. And so you have to be patiently aggressive. Write that down. Patiently aggressive. So we're going to go in order. So you go all in, you got to be decisive, but you also have to be patiently aggressive. And what patiently aggressive means is you have to be patient with the process. This is a process. You are not going to get rich overnight. Although, if you write a huge IUL, you can get pretty freaking packed out in your bank account in 30 days. And that's a fact. You go put somebody in a position where they're able to dump in 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand into an IUL, guess what? That puppy goes issued in 30 days, you've just made yourself a whole lot of money. Right, Jillian? 100%. And we've got agents who do it day in and day out. They're sitting right next to you. If you look to the left of you and you look to the right of you, there's individuals in this room who are making so much money on a monthly basis that when they first started this opportunity, their patience almost ran them out of the business. And so when I say you have to be patiently aggressive, what that means is be patient if it doesn't happen for you right away. Because what will happen is you'll get discouraged. And what happens is this 6 inches between your left and right ear, it can play wild, wild games with you. And it can tell you things that aren't true. It'll tell you things like, why am I driving around in my car all day? Nobody's home. These guys were talking about door knocking on videos. I knocked on 10 doors today. Nobody's home. These guys are talking about walking into business owners. Every business I walk into, there's always somebody at the front desk who screens me and doesn't let me get to that owner. And the moment that I had a chance to get to the owner, they told me that they weren't interested. Why am I doing this? This is a real conversation you can have with yourself. I went into this home. I did everything that they told me to do. I followed the system. I did the core transitions. I brought the pain. I spoke to the wife. I spoke to the husband. She told me that they would have to move out of the house in 6 months, that their children would have to switch schools, that their whole blueprint financially would be devastated if they didn't have these living benefits. But they wanted to wait. Why did they want to wait? What did I do wrong? Is this even the right thing? Am I even in the right business? How does Lamar always do it? How does Lamar always do it? The guy's got 5,000 AP every single time he walks out the door. What type of magic dust does that guy possess that I don't have? How does Sebastian put up a $50,000, $60,000 month? Who is he tying up and forcing to get insurance? These are the stories. Raise your hand if you've ever told yourself a story. I want to see everybody's hand. Don't lie. We all have the stories. I had them big time my first 3 years running through mobile homes. Big time. But I knew that if I stayed patiently aggressive, so that's the patience part. Let's talk about the aggressive part. The aggressive part is, when is a good time to get started? Now. Yesterday. And when I say get started, I just don't mean, hey, I'm going to go get 10 leads and I'm going to see how it goes. I'm going to give it a try. Let's just see how this thing goes. Because all you've done now is set yourself up for previous failures that you've had in the past. Those other things that you've given a try and it didn't work out, you brought that same mentality over here, and that doesn't work. This is a process. Skelly talks about your first 20 appointments. Your first 20 appointments is how you get your feet wet. I also like to believe that your first 5 years is a learning experience. This is my 8th year. Last year, my 7th year, when I was working with Mike, I was literally going out and learning things every single day. And I'll never forget telling myself, now isn't this something? After 7 years, I'm still learning new things in the field every single day. It made me feel good, because here's what it does. It stretches you. It grows you. Many of us have worked at a job, sitting in traffic, sitting at a desk, working with a boss, working with people we don't like, and we're not being stretched. We're not growing. This is a growth plan because we're independent business owners. Make no mistake about it, this is not a job. A job is where you trade your time for money. This is a business opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to flex your entrepreneurial muscle. And in order to flex that muscle, you have to get aggressive about what you're doing. We talk about WIT, W-I-T, whatever it takes. But here's the thing. Not everybody is willing to do whatever it takes. Some people, they just want to do a little bit. They want to test the waters. And I can share with you, unequivocally, that over the last 8 years, I've worked with thousands of individuals. And I can tell you that the ones who don't get aggressive, the ones who don't put some form of time in almost every day, that means 1 hour a day making calls, or maybe 2 hours a day going out knocking some doors. That means taking one Saturday or 2 Saturdays out of the month, getting in your car and making a decisive decision that you will not go home on a Saturday until you have an application under your belt. It's a fact. Over the course of about 9 months, I went out on Saturdays for 9 months. So that would be 1 Saturday, 2 Saturdays, 3 Saturdays a month for 9 months straight. And I never once came home without an application. This was in the winter, and that went into the season. And there was one gentleman's home, it was 7:30 at night, it was the winter time, and I went to go knock on this guy's door, and literally his driveway wrapped around this house, and like you couldn't see the front door, and I had to go, and it was pitch black. And I drive a big truck, right? It's like a pickup truck coming into a dark driveway on a Saturday night, and imagine being at home with your family, and you're like, who in the hell is this with the high beams, right? And going around the house, and I pull in through the back, and I go and I knock on the guy's door in the back door. He answers the door, and I explain why I'm there. Hey, fill this out. I know it's 7:30 on a Saturday night, and the reason I'm here is because I can't go home until I come see you. May I come in? Let me in. Took an application. What I'll share with you is that if you're willing to do whatever, now see, here's what most people will do. They'll tell themselves that story and they'll go, you know, I've been out all day, I set a couple appointments, I'm empty-handed right now, I sure would just like to go home. I would just like to turn my car around and just get on the highway and just go home. And I can share with you that magic dust, Dina, Vicky, Joe Skelly, Matt Lusky, Lamar, Travis, guys, that magic dust is real. If you go do one more appointment, you go make one more call, everybody's name that I just called on, will you get the app?
Absolutely.
Will you get the app? Lamar? Joe? Todd? Every time. There's something magical about not quitting. It's a real thing. And that I don't necessarily know if I have the definition for, but I can tell you that it's a real thing in this business. And I've never seen anything like it. And I've seen it happen over and over and over again. Monty, is it real?
Yeah.
It's a real thing. There's no way that I can call it all these, and it's not a real thing. It's a real thing. But some people will go, I want to go home because it's comfortable. It's comfortable to go home. It's comfortable to get in a warm house or go swimming in the pool because you know your kids are at the pool. It's comfortable to go and attend the kids' games on a Saturday or a Sunday. I know. I've got 2 of them, 12 and 7, extremely active. And I know what it's like not to be at their games in the early years. But guess what? This last year and the year before that and the year before that, I didn't have to miss games. But in the beginning, I did. And guess what? We joked earlier about an unsupportive spouse, right? Or here's what I'll share with you about my wife. Do you want to know why my wife loves the insurance business and she's so supportive? Because she gets to get those Amazon boxes drop shipped to the house every single day. Every day. I could build a fort with the amount of brown boxes that come to my front door. So you want to practice? Write this down. Practice, drill, rehearse. Practice, drill, rehearse. Say it with me. Practice, drill, rehearse. One more time. Practice, drill, rehearse. Practice, drill, rehearse. Practice, drill, rehearse. And what that means is you want to practice your craft. You want to drill it into your brain and then rehearse it. Rehearse it with people. Bring the gift of living benefits to everybody you know. And I'm not talking about in the way of call your friends and family and try to sell them life insurance. I'm no stranger to the World Financials of the group, and the Primericas of the group, and the Trinats of the group. I'm no stranger to it. Been around for a little bit. They want you to sell life insurance to your friends and family. What I'm asking you to do is share the gift of living benefits by asking pointed questions. What do you have in the terms of assets set aside in the event of a heart attack, stroke, cancer? Mary, what do you have set aside that if something happens to Bob on his way to work on a Monday morning and he doesn't show up for work ever again, what do you have in place to take care of this $400,000 beautiful home you folks are living in? What do you have in place to make sure that your 12-year-old and your 7-year-old, that they don't have to switch schools in the middle of a semester? What would that stress look like? Can we all agree that if someone has an unexpected illness, that's a stress in itself? If health insurance doesn't cover all the out-of-pocket expenses, that's a stress itself. So now, would you like to add an additional stress on top of that by the financial stress of not having money coming in the way you had it before? If we lost Bob's 6-figure income in IT, what happens? Folks, this is a reality for Americans every single minute of every single day. Whatever that statistic is about individuals who, God forbid, have a heart attack every few minutes, right? It's in the hundreds of thousands. Individuals being diagnosed with cancer, it's in the hundreds of thousands. No, it's unfortunate that these medical illnesses happen, but we have a gift, and our gift is living benefits. And not everybody has it. State Farm doesn't have it, and Prudential doesn't have it, and Northwestern Mutual, right? They don't have the gift. They have insurance, they have investment products, but they don't have the gift. Do you want to know how you can make multiple 6 figures in your first year in financial services? Do you want to know? Yes. It's a secret. Do you want to know what the secret is? I don't think you do.
Yes.
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 Here's the secret. You share the gift through either a lead source, calling on a business owner, utilizing social media, doing practice appointments. However because everybody's different. Not everybody does the business the same. So however it is that you do the business, and you do the business, however it is that you do the business, when you get in there to share that gift of living benefits, make sure to go over and above and ask a couple more questions. What do you have in terms of a 401k? What type of assets maybe do you have set aside? Is there any money in a brokerage account? Is there any money anywhere in a mattress? And ask these pointed questions, and then leave it alone. And go there and do what you were meant to do, which was help them secure financially, like their finances. Meaning, right, if something happens, here's how we cover that. But then come back to that. And not just that. Make sure that when your policy gets issued, you have those policies mailed directly to you and not the client. If you're brand new, that is your key. Have the policy mailed to you and not the client. Why? Because trust. They want to see you again. And how you go to see them again is you now come and see them and you bring an IUL illustration. I believe we're going to have training on that today. And now you're talking about multiple streams of income out of one appointment. And that's going to allow you to level up your game. It's going to allow you to become a full-service financial services professional, but it's also going to allow you to make multiple six figures. You can make $250,000 just selling living benefits, but you can make $500,000 selling living benefits and also doing IULs. You can make $1 million selling living benefits, doing IULs, and then doing indexed annuities. Remember those pointed questions? Do you have a 401k? Is there an equity account, a brokerage account? Have you ever lost any money in the market? That's when you can bring your Sherpa in. Or if you've developed the skills, you go do it yourself. That is how you make a lot of money in this insurance game. And it's not that it's hard to do. Steve and I talked about this morning. It's not that it's hard to do. It's actually kind of easy to do because you're already there. You're already in the conversation. You're an edified expert. You took a test, you passed, you got your life insurance license. You know more than 99% of the people that you're sitting in front of. So you're already the edified expert. If you just go a little bit further, you can help your cause and you can help a lot of people. So many people losing money in their brokerages accounts and their 401ks and things of that nature. And an indexed annuity is a good play for them. So now you've done another good thing for somebody. So you want to practice this. And how do you practice? By packing out your calendar. You do not, write this down, no white space on my calendar. You do not want to have any white space on your calendar during the week. My week runs Monday to Sunday. I've always run Monday to Sunday. Does it mean I don't go on vacation? Just took 8 days. Going on a cruise around the world next month. Doing all kinds of stuff. But in the beginning days, held off a little bit. So I could put the time in. So I could drill it in. So I could practice it. So pick the days of the week that work best for you. Maybe Monday nights are better for you. Maybe Wednesday afternoons are better. I'll tell you what night I love seeing clients, Friday nights. Friday nights I love seeing clients. Want to know why? Because it's the end of the week, right? Thank God it's Friday. People are a little bit more chilled out. Maybe they have a glass of wine. They're a little bit more relaxed. Never walked into a house on a Friday night that I didn't sell. Ever. And I don't think any of our agents who've gone out on Friday night appointments have come out empty-handed either. So Friday nights. So pick the days of the week that are good for you. If you want to work 3-4 days a week, do it. You should. Again, I'm not going to not tell you that you should. Like, you want to work 7 days a week? Work 7 days a week. Just don't burn yourself out. Pick and choose your times. Weekends are money days. Saturdays and Sundays. I never like to go on Sunday mornings because I wanted to be respectful of people, give them time to go to church and go to brunch and have time with their family. But after 1 or 2 o'clock on a Sunday,